Bonjour, French 1 students. Here is your teaching video for Lesson 3A, pages 42 through 47 in your textbook. S'il vous plaît, ouvrez vos livres à la page 42. So this is a new unit. So we have Unité 2, Invitation au français, la vie courante. Leçon 3, bon appétit. A, tu as faim? B, au café. C, ça fait combien? Leçon 4, de jour en jour. A, l'heure. B, le jour et la date. C, le temps. Okay, so just like the first unit, this unit is organized into 2 lessons. So there will be 2 quizzes, one over lesson 3, one over lesson 4, and then a unit test over all of unit 2. Thème et objectif, everyday life in France. In this unit, you will learn how to get along in France. In particular, you may want to know how to buy something to eat or drink. You will learn to order snacks and beverages in a cafe, to ask about prices and pay for your food, drink, to use French money. You will also learn to tell time, to give the date and the day of the week, to talk about the weather. So these are all things that you should be able to do by the time you take your test over this unit. Introduction culturelle, bon appétit. Where do you go when you want something to eat or drink? Maybe to a fast food restaurant or an ice cream place. French teenagers also have a large choice of places to go when they are hungry or thirsty. Some go to a bakery, une boulangerie, or a pastry shop, une pâtisserie, to buy croissants, éclairs, or other small pastries. Some may buy pizza, crêpes, hot dogs, or ice cream cones from street vendors. Still others may go to a fast food restaurant, all fast food. But the favorite place to get something to eat or drink is the cafe. There are cafes practically everywhere in France. As you will see, the cafe plays an important role in the social life of all French people. So, again, there are cafes in every city and every town. So cafes are indeed a very big part of French culture. Tournez la page, s'il vous plaît. Leçon 3, vidéo scène. Bon appétit à tu as faim. Pierre, Philippe, and Natalie are on their way home from school. They stop by a street vendor who sells sandwiches and pizza. Today, it is Pierre's turn to treat his friends. So what's kind of happening here is these 3 friends walk home from school each and every day. So instead of them necessarily all buying a snack each day, they just sort of take turns treating one another to snacks. Please follow along as I read. Scène 1. Pierre et Nathalie. Tu as faim? Oui, j'ai faim. Tu veux un sandwich ou une pizza? Donne-moi une pizza, s'il te plaît. Voilà, merci. Scène 2. Pierre et Philippe. Et toi, Philippe, tu as faim? Oh là là, oui, j'ai faim. Qu'est-ce que tu veux, un sandwich ou une pizza? Je voudrais un sandwich et donne-moi aussi une pizza. C'est vrai, tu as vraiment faim. So, we'll work through the translation. Some of the vocabulary that's new is on the next page for you. So in scene 1, we have Pierre and Natalie, and Pierre starts by asking, are you hungry? Natalie responds, yes, I'm hungry. Pierre asks, do you want a sandwich or a pizza? And Natalie says, give me a pizza, please. And Pierre says, here it is. And Natalie says, thank you. In scene 2, Pierre and Philippe, Pierre starts by asking, and you, Philippe, are you hungry? And Philippe answers, oh my, yes, I'm hungry. And Pierre asks, what do you want, a sandwich or a pizza? Philippe answers, I would like a sandwich, and give me also a pizza. And Pierre says, it's true, you are really hungry, right? Because he orders 2 items. He's so hungry today. So taking a look at that yellow vocabulary box, again, before you take your quiz over lesson 3, you will need to know the meaning and the spelling of everything in this yellow box. So how to say that you are hungry? We see j'ai faim and tu as faim. S'il vous plaît, répétez j'ai faim, j'ai faim, j'ai faim. Tu as faim, tu as faim, tu as faim. And then we see how to offer a friend something. And we see tu veux and qu'est-ce que tu veux. And we're also, when we do our repeating, we're also going to end up doing these over here as well. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez tu veux, tu veux, tu veux, qu'est-ce que tu veux, qu'est-ce que tu veux, qu'est-ce que tu veux. Tu veux un sandwich? Qu'est-ce que tu veux? Un sandwich ou une pizza? Right, so this is asking, do you want a sandwich? And then, what do you want, a sandwich or a pizza? How to ask a friend for something. S'il vous plaît, or what we see here is je voudrais, donne-moi, and s'il te plaît. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez, je voudrais, je voudrais, je voudrais, donne-moi, 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 s'il te plaît, s'il te plaît, s'il te plaît. Now these sentences over here. S'il vous plaît, répétez, je voudrais un sandwich. Donne-moi une pizza. S'il te plaît, François, donne-moi une pizza. So again, kind of working through what these are saying. The first one is saying, I would like a sandwich. The second one is saying, give me a pizza. And the bottom one is saying, please, Francois, give me a pizza. So, since we're talking about food, we see some vocabulary for food. S'il vous plaît, répétez les nourritures. Les nourritures. Un croissant. Un croissant. Un sandwich. Un sandwich. Un steak. Un steak. Un steak frites. Un steak frites. An hamburger. An hamburger. An hot dog. An hot dog. Une salade. Une salade. Une pizza. Une pizza. Une omelette. Une omelette. Une crêpe. Une crêpe. Une glace. Une glace. All right, in case you're not sure what some of these are, un croissant is what we would call a crescent roll. A sandwich is a sandwich. Un steak is a steak. Un steak frite is a steak and fries, and that's a particularly popular item to order at a French cafe. Now, hamburger and hot dog sounded a little different in French because in French they don't pronounce H's, okay? So it's un hamburger and un hot dog for a hamburger and a hot dog. Une salade is a salad. Une pizza is a pizza. Une omelette is an omelet. And an omelet is basically like a scrambled egg with oftentimes some other things, and it's served kind of cooked in a big pan and then served kind of folded over or rolled up, okay? And it has different kinds of ingredients in it. Pretty popular thing even here in the United States to order for breakfast. Une crêpe is a crepe, which is a really thin pancake, much thinner than what we're used to. They are a pretty traditional European item, and they sometimes are folded up, sort of like you see in the picture, and sometimes they're rolled up. And then une glace is ice cream. S'il vous plaît, répétez un croissant, un sandwich, un steak frites, un hamburger, un hot dog, une salade, une pizza, une omelette, une crêpe, une glace. So you might have noticed that when I ask you to say, when I say répétez s'il vous plaît, I use s'il vous plaît for please. And that is, the reason you see these are ones that you use with friends, with a friend, with a member of your family, but you wouldn't use these terms, okay, with adults. These are called the familiar, okay? And in French, we're going to see that there are sort of two ways we address people. There's a familiar you, which is what these are here, and you're talking to someone you know well, okay? And there's a formal you that you'll use with adults and people you don't know well. Everything on this page, this is about talking to someone your own age or younger. This is about talking to a member of your family. So these are all familiar yous. All right, well, let's take a look at this, and then actually let's look at I don't have a picture of it here for you, but let's look at the note culturelle on page 45 really quickly. Les jeunes et la nourriture. In general, French teenagers eat their main meals at home with their families. On weekends or after school, however, when they are with friends, they often stop at a fast food restaurant or a cafe for something to eat. At fast food restaurants, French teenagers order pretty much the same types of foods as Americans: hamburgers, hot dogs, and pizza. At a cafe, teenagers may order a croissant, a sandwich, or a dish of ice cream. Some favorite sandwiches are ham, un sandwich au jambon, Swiss cheese, un sandwich au fromage, or salami, un sandwich au saucisson. And, of course, they are made with French bread, which has a crunchy crust. Another quick cafe meal is a small steak with French fries, on steak frites. So realistically, French teenagers would be more likely to go and have food at a cafe than they would a fast food restaurant. Cafe food is about the same price. It's not really much more expensive, and you tend to get a little bit more for your money. And it's generally probably a little bit healthier as well than fast food is. All right, your book likes these crazy little comics. So we have J'ai faim, je voudrais un sandwich. Right, so the hippopotamus is saying, I'm hungry, I'd like a sandwich. And this waiter, he's pretty smart, right? It's a hippopotamus, so he brings an enormous sandwich. The petit comité. In France, sandwiches are traditionally very simple: a piece of French bread with a slice of ham or cheese. However, nowadays, one can buy fancier sandwiches made with different breads, such as panini, and a variety of ingredients. So you'll see on one of the videos, and I think it is the video for this lesson, that in France, a traditional sandwich would just be a piece of French bread, which is baguette, and kind of cut in half, in a short segment of it. And basically, they open up, they might put a little bit of butter on it, they put a piece of cheese and a piece of meat, close it up, and that's your sandwich, okay? So it's not kind of like what we think of as a sandwich or anything at all like Subway or something like that where there's lots of ingredients on it. Their sandwiches are pretty simple. All right, again, the little green boxes are your textbook introducing you to some grammar. Again, remember, the first 2 units of your textbook really don't focus a lot on grammar, but they're introducing it to you. They want you to sort of notice it. So we have un sandwich, une pizza. You may have noted about that the names of some foods are masculine and others are feminine. In French, all nouns, whether they designate people or things, are either masculine or feminine. So remember, we've talked about this before. Your textbook started with people because with people it sort of makes sense. If it's a word that describes a male person, it's going to be masculine. And if it's a word that describes a female person, it's going to be feminine. But in French, this isn't just true of people. This is true of all nouns, including these nouns for food. So how do I know a noun is masculine or feminine, right? We are looking for those clues, and those clues are our articles. So what we're going to look for to know that we have a masculine, okay, noun versus a feminine noun, because again, this is going to continue to be important in French as you learn French, right? So masculine noun uses un, the feminine form is une. Remember, this is called the indefinite article. And it means a or an. We have le for the masculine and la for the feminine. This is the definite article. And these mean the. Now remember, for both of these, they become L apostrophe. Do you remember when they become L apostrophe? Hopefully you remember that it is before a vowel or a silent H. Okay. Now we also had mon and ma. This is really called a possessive adjective. Okay. But these mean my. And again, mon is the masculine one, ma is the feminine one. And you also have learned tone and ta, which are also a possessive adjective. Oops. But these mean your. And remember, there was one kind of little thing about these, right? Before a vowel or a silent H, these we use the masculine one. So ma will become mon and ta will become tone. Okay. So this is one of the things that's really different between French and English, is this idea that all nouns are either masculine or feminine. So if you're going, dang it, I took the wrong language, I think I'm going to go take Spanish next year. Spanish is exactly the same. All languages based on Latin are going to have every single noun, so every single word that describes a person, place, thing, or idea, every single noun in those languages is going to be either masculine or feminine. Okay, so this is not just unique to French. This is true in Spanish. This is true in Italian. This is true in Portuguese. It's even true in German. Okay, so in all of these foreign languages, nouns are either masculine or feminine. It's part of learning the vocabulary. So as you're learning vocabulary on your vocab list, you need to learn it with the article, the un sandwich, or learn it as le sandwich, so that you're remembering that sandwich is always masculine. Same thing here with un pizza, right? You're going to learn it as un pizza because pizza is always feminine. So if on a vocabulary quiz, I ask you for pizza, you have to write un pizza. You can't just write pizza again. You have to include that un that tells me that you have learned that pizza is feminine. Okay? So again, this is kind of a summary of them, right, to help you remember. S'il vous plaît, répétez un, une, le, la, mon, ma, ton, ta. Okay, so again, this isn't any different than with the people. It's just the fact that now we're learning that foods are masculine and feminine. It doesn't mean that only girls can have pizza and only boys can have sandwiches, okay? It just is the word sandwich itself is masculine, the word pizza itself in French is feminine. So let's look at exercise 2. Au café. You are in a French cafe. Ask for the following dishes. So you see our example, right? We see a picture of that crescent roll, and we see je voudrais un croissant. The part of this that's going to stay the same every time is the je voudrais, which remember means I would like. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez je voudrais, je voudrais, je voudrais. So again, these are ones where I want you right now to be saying the answers out loud to yourself, and then you'll hear me for confirmation. So number 1, we have a sandwich. Je voudrais un sandwich. Number 2, we have a salad. Je voudrais une salade. Number 3, we have a pizza. Je voudrais une pizza. Number 4, we have ice cream. Je voudrais une glace. Number 5, we have an omelette. Je voudrais une omelette. And number 6, we have a steak and fries. Je voudrais un steak frit. We'll also do exercise 4 out loud. Qu'est-ce que tu veux? Say which foods you would like to have in the following circumstances. You are very hungry. So if you're very hungry, you might want a steak and fries. Je voudrais un steak frit. Again, notice je voudrais is going to be in all of the answers that you say. Okay. So, s'il vous plaît, répétez je voudrais. Je voudrais. All right, number 1, you are at an Italian restaurant. Je voudrais une pizza. Number 2, you are on a diet. Je voudrais une salade. Number 3, you are a vegetarian. Hopefully you know what vegetarian means, right? That's a person that doesn't eat meat. Je voudrais une salade. You also could have had je voudrais un sandwich. You also could have had je voudrais un croissant. You also could have had je voudrais une crêpe. Any of those would have been fine. Number 4, you're having breakfast. Je voudrais un croissant. You also could have had je voudrais une omelette. Number 5, you would like a dessert. Je voudrais une crêpe. You also could have had je voudrais une glace. Number 6, you want to eat something light for supper. Je voudrais un sandwich. You also could have had je voudrais une salade. You also could have had je voudrais un hot dog. You also could have had je voudrais une omelette. You also could have had je voudrais un croissant. Any of those would be fine. All right, the pronunciation, l'intonation. When you speak, your voice rises and falls. This is called intonation. In French, as in English, your voice goes down at the end of a statement. However, in French, your voice rises after each group of words in the middle of a sentence. This is the opposite of English, where your voice drops a little when you pause in the middle of a sentence. So these arrows are meant to kind of help you with what your voice should be doing. S'il vous plaît, répétez, je voudrais une pizza. Je voudrais une pizza et un sandwich. Je voudrais une pizza, un sandwich et un hamburger. Voici un steak. Voici un steak et une salade. Voici un steak, une salade et une glace. All right, your homework assignment. Homework number 10 is page 46, exercise 2, and page 47, exercise 4. We did these out loud, but now you're going to write them down for your homework assignment. So we're ignoring the fact that this says parlay. This is now going to be a written exercise for you where you have to write down the answers. So exercise 2, remember, the part of this is going to be the same every time is je voudrais. So all of your answers are going to start je voudrais. And then again, you're learning how to spell these items. So je voudrais un sandwich would be number 1, and then you do number 2, and so forth. So you're writing out those sentences. Exercise 4 also says it's a speaking one, but we're making it a written one. Okay, again, we did this one out loud. Remember, je voudrais was in all of our answers, and for some of these, there were several different choices that you could have, right? So number 1, you're at an Italian restaurant. Kind of really the only thing that you've learned that's Italian is un pizza. So you're going to write that out, and then you're going to do number 2 and the 6 of those. Au revoir. À demain.